this is such a guilty pleasure film. I do have to admit, it's wonderful, it's colorful, and it's action packed. So congratulations to Sheroes.
Well, thank you very much. I'm thrilled to hear that.
So tell us first is where the original idea came from for this film.
Back as a kid going to the movies, I always kind of fell in love with those 80s and 90s action films where, Stallone or Schwarzenegger would come in and save the day and rescue the woman in distress. And I wanted to take that same type of film that I enjoyed so much and present it in a new way, where we had women playing those same kind of iconic action-fueled roles, and they came in and saved the day. So the idea was just to kind of create that amazing experience I had going to the films as a kid, and showcasing it with these like 4 amazing women that we have in Sheroes.
Now in Sheroes, you have 4 women as the heroines in this film, rather because you mentioned those 70s 80s, those are like lone wolves that go out and perform all those action stunts and everything. So tell us why it should be like a camaraderie like Sheroes here.
Well, I just wanted to show how these people can collectively come together and use their individual skills to become effective in what they're trying to do. So I wasn't trying to recreate those movies from the 70s and 80s. They were just kind of that inspiration of that fun movie ride that we all, went on back then. So it wasn't about creating that same lone wolf. It was creating a situation where we have these women who collectively work together, use their individual skills and resources to deal with the problem they have in front of them, and effectively work as a strong team to save the day.
Now, in the case for the story overall, why did you base it in Thailand? I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm actually from Thailand, so this is a film very special to me.
Well, for me, it was about the location proved to be like a character in the movie, and I wanted to go somewhere that had that beauty, that kind of place we only dream of unless we've been there. And when I had gone to visit Thailand, scouting, the moment I got off the plane, I'm like, this place is just incredibly beautiful and magical and would provide the perfect backdrop to this story. So the location became, essentially a character in the film. And then once I got to Thailand and I met the creative forces that worked there and that could team up with me, I was just overwhelmed by how wonderful everybody was. So the opportunity to kind of shoot in that beautiful setting and work with all of these amazing people became there was no question, Thailand was the place to kind of create this world.
Now, I was actually unfamiliar with Phuket because one of the things that I know, it is a resort city. I did not know there were actually filming productions there. Was it all filmed in Phuket? Was there set productions for yourself and to recruit people to be part of your film?
Well, we shot all of the exterior stuff that we see in the film, the beaches, the villas, the full moon party. That was all shot in Phuket. As soon as we started going into interior locations that we built, we moved to Bangkok. So the shoot became kind of a hybrid of Phuket and Bangkok, which kind of gave us the best of both worlds of Thailand. In terms of from a creative standpoint, they both worked really well. And just from a cultural standpoint, it was great to experience those 2 different regions.
Tell us about the cast that you have to assemble together, because you want the right cast with some name and some action background, right?
You know what? I wanted to work with the best people I thought that were right for the film. And, through the casting process, I had the opportunity to meet many incredibly talented actors. And once I kind of found a connection with those who I met and spoke with, they became those characters to me. So for me, it was about finding the right people who I thought that could embody these individual characters, and also to have some type of idea of would there be chemistry between the 4 women that we wove together. And fortunately, there was. They had never met each other prior to arriving in Phuket. And within 2 days, it's like they knew each other their entire lives. We were very specific about what we tried to do with them in terms of kind of creating activities and, exploring the region together so we could connect on, a unique level where they got to know each other and they created a sense of like trust with one another. And within a few days, I mean, it was just amazing, the connection that they had with each other. And I'm, thrilled to say that, resonates in the film.
So what kind of preparation did you put them through?
What I wanted to do was we shot, on the cusp of COVID. So we didn't have a lot of time together. So I decided to forego traditional rehearsals for, more of a personal connection with each other. So when they arrived, we would do like family dinners. We would go out on a catamaran for the day, go snorkeling together. We visit, an elephant orphanage together. And we really just got to know each other. It was a lot of talking about the film, but also just talking about ourselves and connecting with one another. So by the time it came to shoot, it, like I said, it felt like we'd known each other far longer than the time we'd spent.
Now, you could correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan, but I understand this is your feature film directorial debut.
It absolutely is, yes.
How was that overall experience for you?
It was the greatest creative experience I've ever had in my life. I feel fortunate that I've been producing movies for, 20 plus years, and I've got to work with some amazing filmmakers. But, I always had that desire to, direct a movie and potentially write a film as well. So when the opportunity, came around, I just kind of grabbed it. I wrote a script of a story I wanted to tell. We got to Thailand, we cast the film, and as soon as we started shooting, it was just the most magical experience for me. I've never enjoyed anything more. And, the thing that really blew me away through this experience was seeing these wonderful actors create and say these words that I had written on paper. And to see that brought to life was just an overwhelming and beautiful experience, to know that this fun ride that I'd created in my head was now becoming a reality in front of me. And that reality would ultimately be having the opportunity to show the film to, wonderful people like yourself.
So what was some of the important things that you've learned over the years from producing that you took and put it into this film?
I learned that like communication is key, communication and trust. And I've always operated on the assumption to know that you're not the smartest person in the room. It doesn't matter who that is, just know that it's not you. And when you go along those lines, I think it opens yourself up to collaboration and trust and to deferring to the people that know what they're doing better than you. And when you trust that process, I think you end up with a strong result. So that's kind of what I, would watch over the years through directors and the way that they would communicate and the way that they would rely on their crews and the way that they would prepare. And I kind of had the opportunity to work with some amazing filmmakers. So I took the best of what I saw from each of them, and then I, added in what I thought was important, and that became my process.
Well, I think it's amazing because as your first feature film, there's a lot of action sequences in this film, and I don't know how you tackled that, for something at the first time. What was the most difficult thing you had to do?
Well, in terms of the action stuff, again, it's like defer to the people that have done this and know what they're doing better than you. And I had an amazing team that I worked with, primarily my DP. And, he was very well versed in the world of action. So I could heavily rely on him to help me create, those amazing scenes. And, again, collaboration, working with someone that's great, who can take what you have in your mind, communicate that, and then help facilitate that, so it becomes a part of the movie in an effective way.
Tell us about one of the things that I love about this film is your cinematography. It's bright, it's colorful, just like the necklace you're actually wearing. Tell us about the choices of your palettes and how you wanted to film this.
Well, I wanted those vibrant colors, exactly what you're talking about. I mean, Thailand is incredibly lush, it's incredibly beautiful, it's incredibly colorful. So I didn't want to take away from that. I didn't want to take away from the beauty of where we were shooting, and I wanted to kind of lean into that. So there are scenes that become a little bit darker as we move throughout the film, but that kind of like, I mean, the movies for me was to create this kind of fun ride. So, leaning into those vibrant and beautiful colors kind of accentuated the ride that we were trying to create. And that was the choice for the palette and that kind of vibe and style that you see in the movie.
Those are excellent choices, and I loved every bit of it. So tell us what's next for you now after you got this under your belt.
Well, I've got another film that I'm just casting right now, which I'm incredibly excited about, which is called Cam 48. And real quick, it's just the story of this woman who is a street hustler, gambler, owes a lot of money, and ultimately finds this old camcorder in a pawn shop that she soon discovers films 48 hours in the future. So she uses that camera to her advantage until it becomes an extreme disadvantage towards her.
Most excellent. And Jordan, one more thing before I go, because one of my favorite movies that you actually produced was Spring Breakers. I don't want to age ourselves on how long ago that was, but at that time it was, I want to say it was groundbreaking because we haven't seen something like that before. But I felt like some of the parts, especially towards the first half of the movie, felt kind of like Spring Breakers. Could you tell, were there actual influences from that movie into this film, or is just something entirely different?
Well, absolutely. I mean, when we made Spring Breakers, I love the idea of these like women getting themselves into trouble and finding their own way out. So, I mean, that was a part of the inspiration into telling this story, because that's what I really connected with on that, and that's what I really enjoyed in that film. And Harmony, I think, made a masterpiece with Spring Breakers. So, by no stretch of the imagination was I ever trying to recreate or make another Spring Breaker movie. But I did, feel like in terms of the story that he told, women getting themselves into trouble and finding their own way out was something that I wanted to explore.
Wow, that is terrific. Is there a possibility of Sheroes 2?
Sheroes 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's see how much everybody enjoys the first one, which I certainly hope they will. But I think there's definitely an opportunity to keep these incredibly talented and strong women moving forward through other more peril and more beautiful locations.
That is excellent. Jordan, thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us about Sheroes. I can't wait to see what you do down the road. Thank you.
I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.